I have $40,000 in credit card debt. 40. So let's talk about it. First of all, that is a statement that I thought I would be taking to my grave. I never thought I would tell another soul. And in fact, until today, I have never told another soul about my struggles with credit card debt because this is not the beginning. If we rewind all the way back to about 19 or 20-year-old Lana, that is when my journey with credit card debt began. I was 19 years old and I was dating a man who was 31, and he did not support me or help me financially in any way. And I was trying to live his lifestyle off my minimum wage job, and I was living outside my means, to be quite frank. I got myself into credit card debt. I stayed in credit card debt until I was about 21, at which point I was able to pay it off over the course of just like really cutting back and being very diligent about making as many extra payments as I could to my debt. And then I got out of it and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the most freeing thing. I'm never doing that again. And then I did. And then I paid that debt off. And you know what? I repeated the cycle again. I'm in my third cycle of credit card debt. And at this point, my threshold has just gotten so big. Your threshold for debt increases with time, right? It's just like your threshold for anything else that creates stress in your life. Over time, your body has to adapt to the current conditions. So your threshold for what it can hold expands. So right now, the number 40 probably feels staggering to some of you, but it's not a number that I feel fear around. So why am I sharing this with all of you? Well, because this debt that I've carried on and off for almost all of my 20s has cultivated so much shame for me. So much shame. I directly had my self-worth tied up into my financial picture. And so I thought that because of the fact that I had this debt, I was not worthy. I was not worthy. And as I've been doing a deep dive into my subconscious mind, just really into my psyche in general over the last couple of years, I have looked at everything very, very, very honestly. But money's been the one thing that I've been avoiding. The one thing that I've been avoiding. And over the last month, I have gotten to a place where I cannot avoid it anymore because I am in a very unique situation when it comes to my finances. And I've been doing all of this subconscious work. And as I sat in meditation yesterday, this just came up out of nowhere that I need to talk about it. I need to talk about it. So I first started by having conversations with my closest girlfriends because they didn't even know. And after I had spoken to them, I felt the shame just dissipating and leaving my body. And I thought, I'm going to share it with the world. I think I've always known that I was eventually going to share it with the world. I just wasn't feeling ready. And so I'm sharing this with you because I know that so many of us struggle with debt. I know so many of us are in debt right now. And I need you to remember that money is not moral. You are not worthy or unworthy depending on your financial situation. The more that we talk about things, the less that shame can breed, the less that shame can exist. And I'm just simply to a point where I'm done feeling shame about this. I'm done. And so if I don't feel shame about it, why not share it with you? Because if I can help one person feel less alone on their journey, it's worth it for me. And I don't really care what the comments are going to say, because if I don't feel shame about it, you can't make me feel shame about it. So moving forward, okay, now that we've got 40 grand, what's the plan? The plan is to give it to God, basically. I am in a full surrender right now with my finances, and I just trust so deeply that I had to get to this level. I had to go to these depths on my journey with money for me to fully untangle my relationship with money. Because if you go all the way back to my childhood, I felt fear and scarcity around money before I even conceptually understood what it was. So as I entered adulthood, I had subconscious beliefs that there wasn't enough money, that money equated to my worth, scarcity, lack. Like I had very, very, very deep-rooted fear patterns around money. So even though I entered adulthood and I was able to manage my own finances, and I consciously knew the right way to manage my finances. I worked in finance for 10 years. I consciously knew the right decisions to make. I would not make those because my subconscious mind was running the show, not my conscious mind. I was operating from my subconscious beliefs that there isn't enough, fear, scarcity, lack, instability. So a lot of times, even when I had money in my checking account, I would spend on a credit card, because I needed to hoard like a little squirrel every dollar that I had in my bank account, because it may never come back and there isn't enough. And what I'm learning through this process is why I repeated those patterns isn't because I have no willpower, I'm weak, I'm unintelligent, or any of those things, I'm unworthy. It's because my subconscious mind was running the show. I was allowing my limiting beliefs to run the show. And this could be applied to any other area of our life. So what I'm doing forward is changing my identity, changing my subconscious beliefs, rewiring my subconscious mind to believe that pleasure and abundance and prosperity are safe. Not only safe, they are my birthright, that I am capable of holding it, that I'm not only capable of holding it, that it is on its way to me right here, right now, that I am an abundant human being. I am releasing the shame around money in general because money is not moral. We were not born into this life knowing what money is. Money is something we created. It didn't exist when humans first evolved. We created it. It is not moral. It is not moral. If you have more questions about kind of how this all transpired, more than happy to talk about it. I'm happy to start a conversation about this. Most of this debt, this 40 number, I've been carrying around for a little while. And I posted a video the other day saying I'm breaking up with my credit cards. And I said, I don't want to go down a slippery slope. And I wasn't being fully transparent, which is fair. I don't owe the internet anything. But the full transparency is I don't want to go any farther down the slope than I'm already down, right? I'm already here. And I just made this decision. Like, I had to put a vet bill on a credit card and that topped me over the 40 number. And that was my breaking point. And I was like, something has to change. And not, how can I work harder to make money to pay this off? But like, what do I need to look at within myself to prevent this from happening again? Why am I keeping myself in this cycle when I know it doesn't serve me? And I think that's where a lot of the shame comes from for me, is knowing that this wasn't what was best for me. And then I would take action anyway. And then I would avoid it. So I would avoid at all costs. Like, if I spent something with my credit card and I felt unrest in my body, avoid, suppress. When I would go to pay my credit card bills, like, just only look at the credit card statement for long enough to pay the bill and then put it out of my mind, suppress, avoid, suppress, avoid, suppress, avoid, self-soothe in other ways, cope in other ways. So we're done with that. We are done with that. I no longer identify as somebody that uses a credit card. I no longer identify as somebody who operates from a place of lack, scarcity, not enoughness, unworthiness, none of that. I am no longer a person that operates from a place of shame. This is my last buried treasure. And if you know my face by now, I might be new to some of you, but if you know my face by now, you know I've shared a lot with you guys on the internet. And I know that it might feel wildly inappropriate to some of you, but I so firmly know in my body, in my soul, that I came here on this planet to share my journey with you. It might not resonate for all of you. And that's okay, because the ones that are supposed to receive this message and who are feeling overwhelmed by their financial situation, I know that you're going to see this. And I'm here to tell you it's not about continuously working harder. It's about looking at your subconscious beliefs. It's about looking what's going on within you. What are your beliefs around money? What are your behavior patterns around money? What is your emotional response when you think about your financial situation? What's going on in that subconscious mind, and how can we make a change? We don't get to choose our childhoods. We don't get to choose the beliefs that form about ourselves in childhood. But when we are adults, there's self-responsibility, and it is up to us to create the change that we desire. So let's do it. Let's do it together. I have been doing a crash course this month of just deep self-concept work. Deep like rewiring my brain, self-concept, subconscious, like nervous system work. And I know without a doubt that by the end of this year, that debt will be paid. I release any worry or fear or stress about it at all. I know that I'm taken care of. I am full surrender, given this to God, because I know that this is my path. I know that this is here to teach me something. I know I had to go down this journey to learn what I needed to learn, to get the medicine that I need to continue to step forth into this person that I came here to be. So I don't feel shame, and I don't want you to feel shame either. So if sharing my story helps one person, then it's worth it for me. Debt is not moral. You aren't unworthy. And you can change your financial picture truly at any point in time if you're willing to go inward, if you're willing to dive deep. So happy Friday, beautiful souls. 40. I have $40,000 in credit card debt. And I'm saying that publicly. So we're going to celebrate.
Come with me to get out of debt in 2025. This is my debt.
$88,552.
Here's the thing. I can sit at home and I can cry about it, or I can hustle and I can work and I'm going to get out of debt. I'm going to start a series on getting out of debt, and I'm going to do it step by step, starting from right now, today. I'm going to hustle and I'm going to make the money, and I'm going to be out of debt by December 31st of 2025. If you want to stick around and you want to do this with me, I'm going to do part 2. I'm going to go over what I do for a living, how much I'm making. I'm going to come up with a plan.
I really was not finna pay them people their money. Like, seriously, like, I just got one question. You mean to tell me there ain't nobody back there that can just accidentally click the wrong button? Like, you can't just make a mistake and just wipe everything out? Like, you just can't make one mistake? I mean, dang, at least if they fire you, you'll be debt free. I know what the craziest part about this all really is. I want us to pay back $100,000 worth of student loan debt with money from a job that won't even pay us nearly half of that. Do you not know it's some people that went to school and got 3 degrees and they still don't even make $50,000 a year? I don't know.
Why I'm not paying off my student loans as an MBA grad making $200K a year. I'll pay them off eventually, but here's why I'm not in a rush to do it. Let's say I took out a $100K loan and that I have 10 years to pay it back at a 6% interest rate. Let's also say that I have $100K sitting in my bank right now that I can use to pay back my loans, if only. The simple thing to do would be to take that $100K and pay off my loans, right? Think again. If I take my $100K to pay off the loan, I'm debt-free, but I also now have $0. If I invest my $100K, I'll make $160K in 10 years from compounding returns. Over the same time period, I need to pay back $135K on my loan principal and interest. Let's do the math. 160 minus 135 equals $25,000 that I made from not paying off my student loans immediately. Vivian from Your Rich BFF posted a video the other day about how we need to change the narrative on debt, because when rich people have debt, it's called leverage, and we celebrate them. So if you have student loans, you're not in debt, you're just levered.
To everybody watching, a technical college is still a college. An associate's degree is still a degree. Do what you can and get what you can. People be talking about, oh, it's just. No, put respect on it, because not everybody can get it. Go get it.
So yeah, I made a video about me owing student loans, right? I owe about $150,000 in student loans. I got 2 degrees. I got a bachelor's in biology and I got a master's in secondary education with an endorsement in clinical mental health counseling, right? That's good. So y'all mean to tell me y'all gonna garnish my check? I'm trolling, right? I made that video last night. I never knew it was so many negative people that would comment on that video. I feel like my video reached the wrong side of TikTok. Like, just laugh. I'm not mad about it. I haven't paid these years in over 4 years. After I graduated in 2021. You think I'm worried about it now? If they get it, they get it. Don't. I ain't working in my degree because I put my kids first. I got a job that's going to accommodate my kids' schedule. But I was trolling. I thought it was funny. Like, I'm not mad about it. If you paid your student loan, kudos to you. You want a cookie? And to be honest, I feel like most of y'all that paid y'all student loans use y'all social media money. Y'all not taking no money out y'all worksheet to pay these doggone loans back. The interest on these loans ain't nothing but probably 7% or less. I pay my credit card out before I pay a doggone student loan. It'll get paid when it get paid. They in the firm, I think I'm good. But y'all too serious in the comments. Like, I don't even turn my comments off. I don't want to turn these off because y'all really doing too much. And they talking about you people. Who is you people? You mean the R word now? I don't like them type of people. If you are, please get out of my page. Block me. Scroll back. You ain't got to comment. Then they talking about you ain't take an English page. Baby, I'm in the South. This how I talk. I know how to talk. I don't try to come out here talking proper. But I just kind of speak my piece. I'm eating my hot wings. They good as hell. This man just said they can just take my bachelor's degree. I'm not even using it anyway. When I tell y'all I felt it, I have a bachelor's and a master's, and I'm not even using it. They finna start garnishing people wages starting on the field. It's the 4th now. And I'm so glad my loans are in deferment. Thank you, Jesus. I don't know when I gotta make a payment, but when that day come, can I defer it again? I ain't got it. I ain't have it in. I ain't got it in. At this point, y'all can take my bachelor's and master's. I don't even need it. I feel like they trying to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. Like somebody adding up. They really need to bring this student loan forgiveness back. Forgive me for what I didn't know. I was 18 years old when y'all gave me them loans. 18, for God's sake. What you think I was going to do with the money? I'm 32 now. Yeah, I got my degrees. I finished school. But baby, just give me some type of grace or something, because I don't have it. It ain't nothing but a couple cents in my bank account. You
have 68,000 people over the age of 62 who are still paying their crippling student loans. Student loan payments for federal loans are now due again. For 4 years, those federal loans were paused, but they're not paused anymore. It is estimated that millions of borrowers are going to have their credit hit this summer because they have not started making the payments again. In Georgia, we have 1.7 million student loan borrowers. Nationally, we have 47 million students who have borrowed. And many people feel like they will be paying their entire life.
All right, so I just wanted to, hold on. Okay, I'm not gonna be like one of them people. I'm not gonna be one of the people crying on the internet. Just let y'all know, I just got a notification, that my Credit Karma, I just, received my student loan payment and my student loan update. And basically 125 points. 125 points were literally just taken away from our credit, just like that, because of Trump and taking all of student loans out of forbearance. So try to set up a payment plan. You can try to do an extension. But yeah, so just let everybody know that this shit is fucking real.
In case all 24 of you missed it, I might have to sue First Mark Student Loans. Why, you might ask? Because I borrowed $18,000, I paid back over $12,000, and I still owe, drum roll please, over $16,000. The math ain't mathin'. It's giving Ponzi scheme with paperwork. So they misapplied my payments. They also auto-debited during my deferment, which is quite literally prohibited in my promissory note, and then gaslit me trying to say that there was a grace period that doesn't even exist in my contract. So let's call it what it is. Predatory lending. And who does it target the most? Black, brown, indigenous folks. People that were promised that education was the key, only to get locked into a financial cage with rising interest rates as bars. A First Mark supervisor admitted on a recorded call that my payments were misapplied, but they have done nothing to fix it. So I'm working on demanding a full discharge, zero balance, and documentation in writing, bitch. If you're in the same boat, pull out your statements, check your balances, because this isn't just a debt, it's legalized exploitation, and we're gonna fight back.
So I never thought I would be the person to think this way, but I honestly believe that in 2025 and on, college is a scam. I don't believe, unless you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or something like that, that you should need to go to college. I feel like it is basically just a status symbol for most parents to say like their kid is going to like a prestigious college or college in general. It's overpriced. Like 75% of students don't work in the field that they got their degree in. I also feel like many of the professors have a very outdated mentality, and that's how they teach. I also feel like working in a trade, such as like plumbing, electrician, contract work, contractors, people who have like a skill or a trade, they don't need to go to college. Like you can learn how to do that on your own. I also feel like the tuition is out of control. It's like average college is $50,000 a year, and then you're left with most people an astronomical amount of student debt that takes years and years and years and years to pay off. And most of the time, you don't even get a job right out of college. And I feel like people who are my age were like indoctrinated into thinking that if we got a college degree, we got a bachelor's degree, we would be set for life. That is so not true. And now I'm thinking like for my daughter, unless she wants to be like a doctor or a lawyer, she doesn't need to go to college. It's not a prerequisite for her. And another thing, I think the whole college structure is like how I said it was status. It's also been like glamorized for making friends, being in sororities, meeting people, networking, moving away, going to being in a new place, becoming on your own. So you're basically like paying for the lifestyle, not the education. And it's very sad because I loved college. I had a great experience. Luckily, I never had any college debt. I loved my school, but it was like for like the status of going to a private university, for meeting a bunch of new people and being in a different city and state. And that was like the main reason why I loved it. Like, yeah, did I learn some stuff? Yeah. But do I use it in my everyday life? No. But they say, like, if you get this degree, you get this piece of paper, you can get a job that pays like $100,000 a year right out of school. And that's not happening, especially right now. So don't go to college unless you want to be a doctor or a lawyer. Okay, bye.
The cost of attendance as an in-state student for the 2025-2026 academic year at the University of New Hampshire came out this week, and it totaled to $41,798. That's in-state. That's including financial aid, like scholarships and stuff that UNH has awarded me. So yeah. Thankfully, my parents have been able to subsidize the first, like, all 3 years that I've attended UNH so far. I'm going into my senior year, so I don't have any student loans, like, if I were to graduate today, that I would need to pay off, which I can't explain to you how much of a blessing and how relieving that is. Like, that is, I'm so fortunate, I know that. But one goal that I've set for myself is to pay as much of my senior year as possible. And so I'm working a ton this summer. I'm working 40 hours a week as a finance intern. I'm also working as a server and babysitting. But another goal that I have is to make some passive income. And so I would love to hit 1,000 followers on TikTok so that I can start making money from TikTok Shop and the TikTok Creator Rewards program, and then also Pinterest and Like to Know It. So if you'd like to help a girl pay her college tuition for her senior year so that her parents don't have to, you should follow me. And also, if you think it's ridiculous that an in-state student has to pay $42,000 a year to attend a state school, like this video, leave a comment, because I too think it's ridiculous.
We talk about how much debt we graduated with and what degree we got, because every time I post videos on this, people from other countries are just so shocked at how expensive school in the US is. I went to a community college for 1 year, and then I went to UGA for 4 years, and I got a degree in public health. The tuition at the community college was about $1,000, but the tuition at UGA was between $3,500 and $4,000 per semester. And that's just the tuition, right? Like you also need to buy books, and if you want to live on campus, you also have to pay more, all that jazz. So in total, I graduated with $32,000 of student loan debt, and those were federal loans, which were between 3.4% and 7% interest. And I also had a Parent Plus loan, which that's already been paid off. And right now I have about $17,000 left. And to be honest with you, I don't really use my degree. Obviously, it's helped me get a job because most jobs want you to have some type of a degree, but I don't work in the public health sector. So tell us, what was your degree and how much student loan debt did you have?
Just found out that my estimated student loan debt payoff is in the year 2049. 2049. 2049. Do I have my fiance start planning my funeral today or tomorrow?
I'm sorry, but I don't think paying back your debts is morally superior. I literally don't care that you grinded for over a decade and stretched yourself so thin and worked 2 jobs and missed out on kids' birthdays and missed out on funerals and missed out on your life, what is dwindling time in your life of mobility and good health in order to pay back, of all people, the federal government. You will never catch me working that hard for the federal government, ever. Ever, ever, ever. There's so many people in my comments, wait, I'm confused. I thought we were paying our student loans back. It's a loan, not a gift. Yeah, I literally don't care. Congratulations. You did? I'm not. And many people can't. And also the people that have been paying them back and are in good standing and trying to be a good citizen, quote unquote, because that's how we're measured, is how well we can pay back our debts when our own government is not even paying back our debts and our own president owes the state of New York so much money that he literally can't even go there, and the fact that he owes other states so much money that he literally couldn't hold rallies, and that's why he had to use really obscure, weird third-party vendors in order to hold rallies in states. He's gone bankrupt 6 times. So yeah, your neighbor who's got 3 children and weighed down by student loans, who has to file for bankruptcy in order to continue to pay her student loans, is the one that's morally inferior. Same government that sends $8.8 billion at the drop of a hat across seas to support an extinction of an entire people. Same government who manipulates and uses our stock market to their own advantage and insider trades every day. Congratulations. Like, you literally are living and dying to pay back the federal government, and it's never going to be me. The bootlicking is insane. It's a really, really weird hill to die on when you can't even afford eggs. That goes for all debts. That goes for houses. That goes for cars. We're weighed down by cars and car loans with high interest rates because we don't have public transport that's affordable and or accessible. Weighed down by mortgages. Let's not even talk about that. None of us are ever going to own homes ever again. Allowing predatory practices like LLCs buying out houses, doing absolutely nothing about it, if anything, perpetuating the behavior. The federal government does not care about you. They're making billions of dollars off of your back. These debts are not ours. Paying back our student loans will not fix our debt deficit. Just run the numbers. The fact that they are bleeding out money in places like the DOD. It is not on me to bail out the government. It is not on the American people. They have just propagandized it that way. Until we see that, until we see our government as inherently evil and that they are all working towards the same goal, we will never have class solidarity, and we will never, ever get ourselves out of this situation. We need some Eric Mays energy up in this.
I have $75,000 worth of student loan debt, and I'm not stressing. I don't feel bad for having to take out that amount of money. Statistically, I understand why I had to take out that amount of money. Could I have paid for college in a different way? Yes, but I don't ever regret the college that I went to, the decisions I made while I was in college, or any of that. I don't regret anything about college, just how I paid for it. Do I wish that I was a little bit more tenacious and applied to more scholarships and all of those kind of things? Yes. But I want people to be very fucking for real. I was the youngest of 6 children, and there was no other way for me to be able to afford school. And I'm super, super grateful for my parents. They put me on the Parent Plus loan, which a lot of people can't even qualify for, because they believed in me, they believed in my dreams, and they knew that this is what I needed to make it to the other side. So during this time where there's a lot of turmoil, we don't really know what's happening with student loans and the payoff. Some of us really only had 2 choices, and that was either no college or student loans. I want to remind any person who is like me, you did what you had to do. And from there, you have to keep it moving. Keep striving, keep doing the things that we have to do because we had to make a hard decision. There is no shame in borrowing money because rich people do it all the fucking time. No shame in borrowing money to create the life that you need to in the long run. I have $75,000 worth of student loan debt and I'm like not stressing. I don't feel bad for having to take out that amount of money. Statistically, I understand why I had to take out that amount of money. Could I have paid for college in a different way? Yes. But I don't ever regret the college that I went to, the decisions I made while I was in college, or any of that. I don't regret anything about college, just how I paid for it. Do I wish that I was a little bit more tenacious and applied to more scholarships and all of those kind of things? Yes. But I want people to be very fucking for real. I was the youngest of 6 children. And there was no other way for me to be able to afford school. And I'm super, super grateful for my parents. They put me on the Parent Plus loan, which a lot of people can't even qualify for because they believed in me, they believed in my dreams, and they knew that this is what I needed to make it to the other side. So during this time where there's a lot of turmoil, we don't really know what's happening with student loans and the payoff. Some of us really only had 2 choices, and that was either no college or student loans. I want to remind any person who is like me, you did what you had to do. And from there, you have to keep it moving. Keep striving, keep doing the things that we have to do because we had to make a hard decision. There is no shame in borrowing money because rich people do it all the fucking time. No shame in borrowing money to create the life that you need to in the long run.